Greetings, fellow wanderers. Jacob Wile here,
And Tiki too.
and welcome to this special edition of Wandering Over Yonder, the vlog series where I take Tiki on a voyage through Craig McCracken's madcap Disney XD series Wander Over Yonder. Since we're now halfway through the first season, Tiki has decided to go through and rank his top and bottom 5 episodes. So please join us on this journey for the retrospective, part 1.
The retrospective part one. That's a very dramatic name for it, Jacob. Good job there. Good job.
Thank you.
Oh, talking about a silly show in such a dramatic way. All right, Jacob, we are halfway through season 1, as you said, and I've done a lot of talking about what episodes are my favorites and also which episodes kind of didn't really stack up for me. And then there's also 10 episodes that are kind of in the middle, which are all 10 of those are all kind of solidly really good episodes. Just I don't generally have as much to say about them. So with that in mind, Jacob, let me tell you how I rank these. I went through, I pulled up random.org, and I just literally typed in every episode of the first 20 episodes. And by the way, we're going to count, just for the sake of brevity, we've technically done 21 episodes, but I'm going to count the day and the night as one episode, just one continuous thing. So just kind of that little caveat in there. So I went into random.org, I typed that into a list, and I just watched the random sequence of episodes that the list popped out. So I had no bias of like which episodes were aired in which order or anything like that. And as I went through, I would just rank like which, like this episode is better than this episode, but not as good as this episode, which is better than this episode. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so through that complicated and time-consuming but ultimately very rewarding formula, I have managed to devise my top 5 and my bottom 5 episodes of the show so far in the first half of the season. So,
And
with
it's
that in mind, Jacob, would you like to know what my number 5 bottom episode is?
Go ahead.
All right, it's an episode that you're not really a fan of as well. I do have a lot of things that I like about it, but I just kind of rewatching it. It's not very. There's not a lot of stuff going on. It's the troll.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is at number 5 because it is kind of like it was. I was hovering between this and then a couple other episodes that I, just kind of hovering to make that 5 spot. But the troll, not a bad episode. Just the only thing about it, Jacob, I think you said it best when we were reviewing it. It's like Wander isn't really doing a lot. And I don't know, Jacob, that's going to be a trend of most of my bottom 5 you're going to notice is a lot of them, not necessarily all of them, but some of them, especially number 3 and number 2, or number 2 in particular, maybe, just don't necessarily feature Wander. There's going to be trends throughout both my top 5 and my bottom 5. The Troll, what I like about the episode, I'm going to be positive about all these episodes to a certain extent. What I like about The Troll is that it is a fun play on internet culture and a fun play on, like, the whole don't feed the troll concept. Having said that, I don't know. It's not as enjoyable all the way through as a lot of the other episodes.
I kind of have to agree with you on that one, especially considering the whole thing could be avoided with Wanderers, saying what to do.
Yeah, you mentioned that on our vlog, and that definitely was in the back of my mind as I was watching this thing. So,
I mean, at least some of the other episodes acknowledge Wander, like like doing why he's doing what he's doing, but that episode's just like, don't do it. I am helping.
no, I mean, Wander, it's like, yeah, him not reacting to the troll is a good thing, but maybe being so nonchalant about the situation in general wasn't so helpful.
Yeah,
Having said that, Jacob, I think a running trend with my top episodes is going to be Wander being helpful, but that helpfulness just absolutely getting in the way of things.
but for this episode, I see in trying to stop feeding the troll, he in essence became a troll himself.
Sure, exactly.
I mean, well, that like I said, I could be completely way off basis with that, and I might be even a bit wrong, but that's just how it comes across.
Yeah, so like I said, not one of the stronger episodes of season 1, definitely, but it's definitely got its moments, and I think the strongest thing to say about it is the whole play on the internet culture, that it's kind of a meta thing, so.
I give it that. I'll give it that, definitely.
Sure. Okay, let's sandwich this in with some positivity. Let's get to my number 5, Jacob, and this is gonna be one that surprises you, I think.
All right,
It was what?
let me hear it.
Okay, it was between this and an episode that I was talking about, like at least for a good first half of this first half, so the first quarter of the first end. Halves and quarters. I feel like Wander already talking about this stuff.
All right, just get on with it.
Okay, but it kind of replaced The Good Deed. Rewatching it, because The Good Deed is a fantastic episode. It's very ambitious, but I just love the simplicity of this episode, Jacob, and it's one that I can go back and watch a lot and just get a lot of enjoyment out of. Another early episode, kind of in the same era as The Good Deed. I'm talking The Fugitives.
Wow, really? I'm surprised. Actually, I'm kind of surprised by that. I mean, considering that episode actually came. I remember that episode actually came before The Good Deed.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
and you didn't really. You said back then. You just said it was basically an okay episode, not really as good as several of the previous ones or the ones after.
Well, keep this in mind, Jacob. I am kind of doing this through the lens of rewatching all these after I basically only watched them once a piece for the podcast. So,
well, I mean, I know that. That's why I'm saying I'm surprised. Even then,
sure. I think a big part of it has to do with rewatchability. I think with the prisoner, or I'm sorry, The Fugitives. Gave away another one of my picks. Is that going to be a bottom one or a top one? Ooh. The Fugitives, I think it's one of the early examples of a great Wander and Sylvia dynamic. And that is what I really love about it. Just kind of like, and I did kind of take some historical context into perspective, Jacob. I mean, I didn't watch these in order, but I did kind of take the perspective of like the order that we watched them initially. And for this, I think what I really like about this episode is that, yeah, it is the first of its kind. I think it's the first one that really kind of played with the idea that Wander is super helpful, but super helpful to like an absolute fault. And there's that great moment, Jacob, and I know I brought this moment up in the podcast, where Wander is just absolutely tripping out. He's trying to ignore the watchdogs causing all this trouble and just having a really terrible time with it. And just stuff like that. I don't know. It's just, I think this episode reached number 5 on my list because for me, it's kind of like the starting point, like kind of the blueprint for a lot of more ambitious episodes of Wander Over Yonder that would follow the same kind of the same general formula, but take it to more extreme directions in both more self-contained and more ambitious formulas that we'll see throughout my top 5.
so it's more of it like it's the genesis for it. Basically.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Because definitely there were a lot of things rewatching this episode that I just I really, really enjoyed. And like I said, it just feels like a blueprint for a lot of the other episodes on my top 5.
And it might also help that you're now more used to this series and the way it works.
That definitely helps. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Dragon. Damn it, I'm sorry.
All right, number 4.
So many hours of my time talking to that man.
Like number 4, bottom.
Number 4, bottom. Well, I kind of gave it away. It's The Prisoner.
Okay.
And this is one of really 2 Peepers heavy episodes on my list. And Commander Peepers is still he's a character that he's starting to grow on me a little bit as the show goes on. I'm still not completely sold on him. And to tell you the truth, the episodes where he is really kind of the center point, I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that Tom Kenny's voice just kind of, I mean, he does a good performance, but it's just kind of like he grates on me. And that laugh, I mean, the laugh is funny, but it's just a whole episode of it. Some Commander Peeper stuff can get old after a while. And The Prisoner, also another reason why I have this rank kind of low, is that The Prisoner kind of feels like it's a formulaic episode of the show, but not in a good way. Like The Fugitives, to me, it just kind of represents kind of like the most bare bones, like Wander's stupid. He wanders into a trap. Sylvia has to save him. And I don't know. It's just like, it's not a bad episode. It's just really rewatching it. I didn't really care for it that much. And
I mean, I can understand that, but I would definitely put it above the Troll.
I mean, fair enough. Like, I think the only reason I have the troll slightly higher is just because of the whole the internet subculture theme,
Eh.
which to me kind of it makes the troll stick out to me. It definitely makes the troll a memorable episode to me. Whereas this one, it's just kind of like this one just fades into the background for me. It's just kind of like it doesn't really stick out either way.
I can see where you're coming from, I guess.
Okay. All right, but let's get on to a more positive side. Let's talk about my number 4 on my top 5, and that is Jacob. Kind of cheating a little bit with this, but I'm going to go with The Day and The Night, the last 2 episodes that we reviewed on this podcast. Talk about a mind fuck. That's all. That's really all I have to say about it. I mean, let's just move on to my bottom 3. You know what I mean? It's like episode is just like it is. I still am like thinking about it and wrapping my mind around it, and rewatching it again, of course, is great because you really like. You know what's going to happen. You know they're in a time loop, but you still can't really make all that much sense out of it. It's just like there's just enough internal logic behind it that I can really go with it, and it's incredibly unique because of it's definitely got a Christopher Nolan thing going on with it. It's definitely kind of like, you know, layers upon layers, but at the same time, it's very simple as well. And Jacob, this is kind of what I'm talking about with the whole format of like they're getting captured and then Sylvia has to kick some ass to escape and stuff like that. But this is that general format, general formula, but done in a very creative way. And obviously, I really feel like this is the most genre pushing of all the Wander Over Yonder episodes.
I can kind of see where you're going with that.
Okay.
So yeah, I do have to. I can't see where you're coming from there. I mean, it is a very out there episode, even for this series.
I just have to put it on there just because of how unique it is, more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say there's an episode like that where the pairs are connected in that way, unfortunately.
Right. In any cartoon that I can think of, honestly.
Well, that's referring to this show, but I do see what you mean.
No, I'm saying it's like it's unique to like all of animation for my money. I've never seen anything like that.
Fair enough.
So,
but, I mean, there's a lot of things in this show you won't see anywhere else. I'll give you that.
Oh yeah.
But this episode definitely does stand out. I mean, well, these 2 episodes kind of stand out if you count them as one.
I do count them as one just for the sake of this, honestly.
Well, if you do count them, they play with and they also play with tropes very well. Like the first episode is kind of the opposite of keeping the person asleep, kind of thing, where the second episode just fully embraces that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the second one's all at Wander's expense.
So really, really fun pair of episodes, and like I said, just the ending just makes me keep coming back to it. Like I feel like it's like a Rubik's cube of an episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the ending is basically a reverse of the first episode's beginning.
Right.
Where it begins with a zoom in into Hater's ship and ends with a zoom out of Hater's ship.
Okay, so let's get to my
bottom 3.
Yeah, bottom 3. Jacob, it is actually, I believe chronologically, this is the very first episode of the series. It's the greatest.
Okay.
The reason I don't like this episode is that I find it to be a very, very, very unflattering introduction to the Wander character.
Hey.
I think this episode, it really kind of, I don't know. I do think the first 2 or 3, like the picnic, honestly, kind of like narrowly avoided missing my top 5 or my bottom 5, I should say, because there's some fun psychological stuff going on with Hater there. It's really just Wander just crashing on Hater and being obnoxious the whole time.
I can see where you're coming from on that.
And like I said, I think I don't know. I think this wouldn't be as offensive to me if it wasn't like literally like one of the first impressions you get of the Wander character. And this is coming from someone like Jacob. I really do love the Wander character in this series. I mean, I've really grown to love him. I can't wait to see where they go with him. The dynamics that they've built around him and Sylvia are very strong, and I can't wait to see. I definitely know that in the future, Hater gets a lot more development and all that stuff. So really, I love this character, but it's just Oh man, I don't know. There's something that's just like very abrasive about the way that Wander behaves in this particular episode that I feel like got ironed out very well as the show went along, and they made him a less abrasive and more just kind of genuinely like warm-hearted character. Not that he isn't nice in this episode, but I almost feel like he's kind of like passively aggressively nice to a certain extent. I don't know. Am I just crazy? Am I reading into it the wrong way?
I can kind of see where you're coming from. It's the first episode, and it could come off as kind of abrasive without any prior introduction, in a way.
Exactly, right. And I just, like I said, there's just a lot of moments in this episode where it's just Wander just kind of like crashing on Hader's moment. And I don't know, to me, it's just kind of like we're supposed to like this guy. And it's kind of a shame that I'm saying that rewatching it, because I've grown to really like this guy. You know, I've grown to, in the episodes we're going to talk about, especially these next three, it's like I really, really love this character, but not the best introduction. Really, it's more of a good introduction to Hader, which I'll give it that much. Although I think I honestly think the picnic, which is why the picnic isn't on the bottom five, is a better introduction for both Wander and Hader. I still think that episode has a lot of kinks that still need to be worked out because it is a very early episode as well. But still, like I said, I just think this is not the most flattering, and it's not a big shock that, you know, that the pilot to a cartoon is not the most flattering example of what a cartoon can accomplish. I mean, that's...
You could call it like basically first episode jitters.
Sure. And it's a very standard thing. I mean, as far as I'm getting, like Steven Universe pretty much has the same thing. The first episode of Steven Universe is about a goddamn ice cream sandwich shaped like a cat. So, you know, Gravity Falls really is, I think, the show that broke the trend and had a really epic, like Breaking Bad style series premiere, but I digress. Okay, Jacob, so let's get to
Top three.
All right, Jacob. I think at this point you can pretty much kind of summarize what I'm going to pick here, but
I might be surprised by the order. Or even, like I said, I thought for sure that the good deed was going to be on here, so I'm going to be like thrown for a loop.
Okay. All right. Well, number 3 is The Ball.
Oh yeah.
What a fun episode. Just what a creative concept. This episode just... The best episodes of the show, Jacob, to me, are just the episodes that just completely, entirely embrace the fact that it's an animated series and they do things that you could just never get away with in a live-action format. And I think this episode is just kind of like the embodiment of that.
Yep. A post-apocalyptic game of fetch.
Yes. Oh my God. I mean, just how devastating they make it, but also just how nonchalant the citizens of the planet are about the destruction and how just they totally just go along with it.
And how innocent it seems from a distance.
Yes. Oh my God. It's such a completely like dark concept. There's a lot of dark undertones to the episode, but it's sprinkled in with such a great humor. I really do like it a lot. Basically the next two are just like incredibly psychological episodes, and that's why I have them as my top 2, Jacob, because I think really this show is absolutely at its best when it pushes Wander to his psychological breaking point, and that is really what my next 2 episodes really kind of embody. And we don't really have that as much in this episode. We don't really have the Wander going insane quality as much with The Ball, but what we do have is...
basically until the end when he decides to go full kamikaze.
Sure. But what we do have is an insanely creative premise, just really, really memorable, funny visuals, a lot of dark humor kind of undercutting the whole thing. Just really, really creative, memorable standout episode of the first half of the season.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my go-to episodes.
All right. Okay, and let's get to
number 2, bottom.
Okay. I'm going to go with The Bounty.
Another Peepers one.
Yeah, this is the last Peepers one that's on here. And like I said, it's not that
this is one I'm not surprised about.
Okay.
Because I remember when you talked about The Prisoner, when I first talked about The Prisoner, you're a bit more positive about it. But this one I remember you're not being a very big fan of.
Yeah,
but this one I honestly thought would be your number 1.
Well, I think at this point you can pretty much guess what my number one is, but
I mean, your number one least favorite. Actually,
yeah.
now I don't anymore. I thought this would be your number one least favorite, honestly.
I think when I say it, you're not going to be surprised, but
Probably not. Well, actually, now, yeah, probably now I do. Yeah,
yeah, you get it. But
yeah.
Let's see though. So yeah, the bounty, just not a lot of stuff going on. It's very Peepers heavy. I think Peepers very much works best as a side character and not a lead character of an episode. And honestly, when we get to episodes that are kind of focused around Peepers, I get a little bit hesitant. Just because I think Wander is such an endearing main character, and episodes that don't focus him as much just kind of throw me off a little bit. And I know that's going to get kind of more prominent in season 2. I'm looking forward to season 2 because of some of the stuff I've heard about it. And I am willing.
Well, a lot of them also focus in season 2. The episodes with him focus on him and Commander Hater. I mean, Lord Hater. Like there's not a lot of episodes where he's actually the main.
Keepers, Commander Hater.
Yeah, but like I said, they really a lot of episodes like kind of focus on their relationship, like them together almost, like not just him and him alone.
Sure. This isn't the episode that we get the mixtape thing, is it?
Yes.
Oh, it is? Okay. So that's the one positive thing I can kind of get out of it.
The torture mega mix.
It's totally banging.
If I get Wander,
honestly, like the one inspired moment of this whole episode to me.
We could see an entire episode based around his torture mega mix. Yeah, it's like, if I get Wander and Sylvia in the mix, it'll be totally banging. And that's become a recurring gag. Totally banging.
Oh yeah, I think that's kind of the problem though. Is like Hater is in the episode, and he's just not in much of the episode. He's great when he's there, and really, it's just kind of Peepers. Just I don't know. There's just not a lot going on outside of that.
Well, trust me, he's definitely a lot more assertive in season 2.
Fair enough.
Like I said, let's see. You know how easily distracted Lord Hater can be, right?
Yeah.
Now that's brought to the forefront in season 2, and Peepers really takes like more an authoritative, commandative role, even against Hater sometimes.
Okay, you see, that seems interesting because one of my problems with Peepers is that he's been kind of too blindly loyal to Hater, no pun intended, with the eye and everything.
Yeah, like he gets a lot more authoritative and even gets a little frustrated with Lord Hater at times.
Okay. Looking forward to it. All right, so let's get to
number 2 top.
All right, this isn't going to surprise you. It's the box.
Ooh.
Oh, God, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Yep.
I mean, what can I say about this episode that I haven't seen? Like, it's just almost completely psychological.
It's like visual. It's like animated LSD almost. Like, especially that one point where has the dream.
So this is going to be a reoccurring thing between my 2 top episodes, Jacob, is that they are both episodes based on an absurdly simple premise that gets stretched out to just insane levels. And that is where I think the show reaches the cream of the crop. That is where I think the show is absolutely like excels and does that kind of thing better than almost any other animated show I've seen.
Well, that's a pretty bold statement, but I'm glad you said that.
I mean, I kind of mean it. It's just like the whole idea of like taking simple concepts and stretching to the extreme. It's something that I feel like Regular Show was trying to do, but I feel like the problem with Regular Show, to me at least, was it got a little bit formulaic with it. There's only so much you can do with the park setting. Granted, I haven't watched more than the first couple seasons of Regular Show, so I don't know what they've done with it since then. I've heard they're in space now. I heard the last season's going to be in space. I don't know what that's all about, but I digress. I don't know. I just think this show, like I said, like not every episode is like this, but the episodes that are like this just absolutely shine and stick out to me as like just great examples of what animation can be and what you can do with the medium.
Oh yeah.
So the box, there's really not a lot to say that I haven't said already. Just absurdly simple premise. Wander just has to not open the box just to be polite. I love how it's just out of sheer politeness that he can't open the box and no other reason. I
And
also
his
love how
curiosity.
Sylvia is kind of like the voice of reason for that.
And the curiosity behind all of it.
Sure.
It's a conflict between his good nature and his curiosity.
And then, of course, big twist ending. Don't really want to spend too much time going over it, but just a lot of fun all the way through. Like you said, just very much like LSD, like it's very psychedelic, very, very psychological. And that it just takes, I don't know, I just feel like I'm kind of going around in circles with this. It's a fantastic episode.
All right. To number one. Let me guess what it is. Can I guess what it is?
I think you can figure it out, but go ahead.
The time bomb.
Yep, it's the time bomb.
Yep, call it.
Mostly because of the characters that we were complaining about, Jacob. They're just awful.
Bendy and Watto, you mean?
Yeah, Bendy and Watto.
Yeah.
They just kind of tanked this episode for me. It's a decent piece of character development on Sylvia's part, and I've already seen some shades of that paying off in other episodes of her being overly competitive. But having said that, it's just such a rough way to get there. It is just not an episode that I ever want to rewatch, just because the two antagonists on the episode are they're awful. They just repeat the same thing over and over again, and they're annoying and just obnoxious, and I don't like them. I just don't like them.
I kind of see where you come from. In retrospect, the episode probably could have been told without them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they just had the episode and just focused on Wander and Sylvia, they eat up too much screen time, and they're obnoxious and repetitive. The repetitiveness is kind of one of the things that is a recurring thing with some of my bottom 5 episodes. Just kind of like, all right. Like, for example, with The Greatest, it's just kind of like, yeah, Wander's just kind of like, he's doing this obnoxious, overly cheerful thing, and haters getting pissed off. All right, I get it. That's kind of like where the show falters a little bit, is in some of the repetition of some of the episodes. But as we've said, there's just so much, there's a lot of other content here that is just really good. And, but the time bomb, yeah, it's just not one that I'm going to revisit a lot. And I am kind of looking forward to seeing where Sylvia goes in the future. She's definitely a character that's getting a lot of evolution as we go along with it. I like how this show does have like a very self-contained feel to it, and yet the characters do genuinely feel like they're evolving. I think it's less to do with character, like genuine character development, and more to do with just the writers have a more solid handle on what they want to do with these characters.
That's definitely a fair statement to make.
The only reason I say it's not genuine character development is just because the episodes are so self-contained from one another.
Like I said, I can see where you're coming from there.
I mean, it's like the next episode after the day and the night. I doubt it's gonna address like the weird time loop thing that happened at the end of the day and the night. I assume it's just gonna be like, okay, we're never gonna talk about that again.
Not really. But I guess for season 2, like I said, there is an arc, like an overarching story, considering the central villain for that season.
Right. I do know a couple things about that villain, yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting into that stuff.
Yeah, like I said, there are elements across multiple episodes that might be a bit repetitive over the course of the episodes.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a fair warning there, but overall, I'd say the season is a very solid one.
Fair enough. But with that in mind, let's get to
number 1.
The nice guy.
I said I'm honestly surprised you picked this one as number 1, honestly.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
But I definitely see what you mean by the whole taking the simplistic premise and stretching it out to its maximum potential.
Just going into a convenience store to buy a soda for a friend who hasn't been in that position, who hasn't done that. This episode is genius. It's absolutely genius.
Yeah, but most people haven't ended up, holding out the door for a person to take every bottle, cleaning the entire store, mixing the beverages, looking for pennies.
Oh my god, just how self-defeating Wander is by being polite is like the best thing about this episode, and it's the best thing about the Wander character for my money.
Helpful to a fault.
Absolutely.
Even if it's to his own detriment.
So just
I mean,
like
in other words, it's a penny.
has anyone in this fine establishment lost a penny?
Plus it also ends with a good moral lesson.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Also him yelling across the store to ask if he can mix the two slushies.
I feel for the cashier guy on that one.
Right. Are you sure? Don't make an exception for me.
Yeah, like I said, I work at a convenience store, so it's like, where are the coffee cups? You're standing next to them.
Oh Jesus.
Where's the ATM? There's a sign over there.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I mean that's really all I have to say about it. Just like it just kind of exemplifies everything I love about the show. It kind of just hits all the checks all the boxes that I just everything about it just really well done. It's psychological, it's creative, it's set in one singular location, which I think is great. It's a bottle episode. It's all about obtaining a bottle, which I still think is kind of a little bit of an in joke, Jacob. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That might be stretching it, but just overall,
All
just
right.
a fantastic episode.
All right. It's quite impressive. That's quite a nice list you've got there, Tiki. I mean, I'm honestly surprised by some of your choices, both good and bad.
Okay.
So
So I
let's go. How about we go through I'm gonna go through a list in chronological order and list the ones we didn't talk about.
okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Just kind of do our quick 2 cents about them.
All right, we already did. Okay, you mentioned the picnic when you were talking about the greatest.
Right, and I just like I said, the picnic is definitely kind of like in my lower 10 or so, but it's not a bad episode. It's a better introduction to the Wander and Hater dynamic than the greatest is by a long shot, in my opinion.
Okay, then. Okay, you mentioned the greatest, obviously. Then there's the egg.
The egg was actually an episode that I really like a lot. It's an early example of a simple premise, like just don't break the egg, and really some fun twists. I just think some of my other top episodes are just a lot more ambitious than the egg is.
Okay, you mentioned the fugitives. I think I was really surprised that the good deed wasn't on this.
Yeah, like I said, the thing with the good deed, I feel like is it's very ambitious. I just feel like other episodes that came along later in the run, kind of hit me even more than this one did, and I wanted to put the fugitives on there just because the fugitives was an early kind of good blueprint for what I liked in the episode. So I had a very particular kind of format for how I wanted to do my top five and which of the episodes got on and everything. So.
All right, that's fair enough. Then there's the pet.
Pet, not one of the stronger episodes. I'm honestly kind of not really digging the 20-minute episodes all that much. Yeah, I don't know. It's got some good stuff in it. It's a good kind of alien parody. Just it's not one of the better ones. Good atmosphere though. Good atmosphere.
Okay, you mentioned the prisoner.
Yep.
The bad guy.
This came very close to making my top five actually.
Yeah,
It's
the one where Wander pretends to be a bad guy.
Yeah, it's a great showcase of Wander's personality. It puts Wander in a position that's unexpected. Really good twist at the end with all of them being softies that are kind of just disguising it. Really fun episode. Just like I say, I would say this is probably like in my top 7 or 8, honestly.
Okay, then there's the troll. You've talked about that in your 5.
Talk about that, yeah.
The box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's the hat.
The hat, it's another very solid episode. Honestly, I would like this episode a little bit more if the rules of the episode came into play more throughout the course of the other episodes, which I don't know if they do or not. I don't know if it's like a one-time thing. Can you tell me anything about that?
Well, like I said, there's an episode where that's brought up again later in season 2 where Lord Hater and Emperor Awesome get a hold of it. Plus,
Okay,
plus we actually learn how he came into the hat.
that's a little interesting. I just wish that the whole concept of the hat giving you what you need, not what you want, was kind of more of a fixture of the show, the same way that the diaries are a fixture of Gravity Falls. It's a completely different concept, but and I get that the diaries are like it's easier to frame a plot around that, but I don't know. Just the hat, good episode. Like I said, I just kind of wish that the stuff that we learned about the hat was kind of more relevant to the actual show.
Yeah, I guess. The little guy.
Little guy, it's a very emotional episode, very sad episode. Like it's just I don't know. I'm just so used. I think this show is definitely works better for 11-minute episodes than it does for 22-minute episodes, just because of just how madcap it is and how fast paced it is a lot of the time. So this episode is very much a more slow episode, very artistic. It's a good episode. It's a strong episode. It's just not particularly what I like about the show in general.
Like I said, that's kind of what Craig originally wanted to do with this series. Like have like more 22-minute episodes, like focus on plot and characters and things like that. That's kind of what he originally wanted to do with the series.
Well, honestly, I kind of more appreciate the madcap style of it, but
Well, I'm just saying, like he said he didn't mind doing it this way.
Looney Tunes-esque, which is what I love about it. It's very much like a Warner Brothers type thing, which is ironic because it's on Disney, but whatever.
he said he didn't mind doing these funny ones, but he just said he wanted to do just more plot-based ones. That's the thing. Not to say that they couldn't still be madcap and crazy, but he just wanted to do more plot-based 22-minute ones.
And I guess that's the problem with the little guy. It's a good episode. It's just it does it like stylistically. It feels a little off from other episodes to me.
Well, I can kind of see where you're coming from there.
And I totally get like Craig's ambition to do to kind of push the emotions of it, but like I said, like my favorite episodes of the series, I'm just kind of attracted to a particular type of episode, which I laid up in the top 5. So not a bad episode, just not one that I go back to a lot.
Okay, then there's the ballad that you mentioned, the bounty.
Yeah.
What's in your bottom? The hero.
Oh God, this came so close to making my top 5. Honestly, this is probably like a solid number 6 to like honorable mention. I love this episode. Yeah, it was actually kind of hard to not put this on the list. Oh man, I mean, you have a great guest vocal with James Marsden. Of course, we love him from Enchanted. Most people know him as Cyclops from the X-Men movies. Oh God, I don't know. This episode is just like what I love about the episode is kind of like it kind of takes like what Wander could have been. It's kind of like almost a perverse like mirror version of Wander.
funny you should mention that.
Okay.
I mean, I won't say it away, but it's funny that you should mention that.
Okay.
Thank you. Who knows? Maybe if you do a entire season 1 retrospective, maybe this will creep in somewhere.
Fair enough.
Maybe it'll change your mind by then, or maybe it'll be lower. Who knows?
All right, Mr. Mr. Cryptic.
Well, I have to be cryptic for a reason. Next up is The Birthday Boy.
Another very solid. You know what? I honestly kind of feel like this episode is almost kind of like a remake of The Greatest.
But improved, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. It's kind of like they take the same sort of basic plot elements of The Greatest, but just do them a lot better. And with Wander being much more kind of like they're much more comfortable in their own skin with writing the Wander character. And so he's much less abrasive in this episode, more just kind of like, trying to be a genuinely nice guy. And it's just kind of it's great because it's getting on the haters' nerves.
Yeah, like, plus, hey there, you sassy man. That's like my favorite line. That's my favorite line. Just the way he says it in the entire situation, if you know what spin the bottle is.
I would say that episode's probably like my number 10 favorite, like probably like right in the middle of the series so far.
All right. Okay, we talked about Nice Guy and Time Bomb.
Oh yeah.
2 episodes like pretty much aired pretty close together. They're actually funny thing you should mention that The Nice Guy and the Time Bomb aired together.
Oh my God, you're right.
June 10th and June 11th and July 11th.
Yeah, so there you go. One of them is my favorite of the series so far, and one of them's my least favorite. That is kind of funny.
Yep, they both aired at the same time.
All right.
Kind of like I don't know if that's a coincidence, but most likely.
Yeah, I think. Anyways.
Looking at this list, I just realized they have the exact same air dates. Okay, so The Tourist actually is next.
Oh God, another one that it was kind of brutal for me to not put this on my top 5, honestly. To tell you the truth, the only reason why this wasn't on my top 5 is that I didn't want to get too front-loaded with like recent episodes, and I wanted to put some of the older episodes on there to kind of balance it out.
Well, I mean, I thought the point of this was like to be unbiased.
Yeah, I know, but I just kind of wanted to have a list that kind of represented like the whole, like the broad spectrum of the series so far.
Well, I see where you're coming from on there, and that's actually, and then Day and the Night. That's actually all the ones we've done so far.
Okay, but like I said, just to give credit where credit's due with the Tourist, just oh my God, some of the best episodes to me. I feel like this episode pairs very well with the Hero, because they're both like they're very, very good guest characters, guest vocalists. I don't know why I keep saying vocalists and not just guest voice actors. Vocalist implies that it's like, oh, a guest singer.
Nope.
But no, Tourist, really, really good episode. Really, really fun display of Wanda's personality, and I think that the Trudy character.
Yeah, it's basically a different version of the Time Bomb as well.
Sure, but a much better version.
Because instead of Sylvia's competitive side, it's Wander's competitive side.
But and I honestly think the Trudy character might be my single favorite one-off character in the whole show thus far.
Yep.
I would say that's actually a very fair statement for me to make. The James Marsden character is a close second. The Hero, that's a close second. But I also know that guy's gonna come back.
Well,
right?
they're like the only. What did you say that last time? What was that last thing you said? Is
James Marsden coming back?
Yeah, he actually, like I said, he actually does make several more appearances.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So that's why Trudy truly is. I believe she truly is a one-time character, right?
Yep, she doesn't. As far as I can recall, she doesn't appear any more times.
Okay, so there you go. Just best one-off character so far on the show for me.
Yeah, but Brad Starlight actually, that's his name, Brad Starlight actually does make several more appearances.
Okay, cool.
Including one later this season where he teams up with where he meets Lord Hader.
Nice. Okay, so I guess that's it.
So since we've been through half, I must ask Tiki, what are you thinking of this show so far? You glad you're watching it?
Oh yeah, definitely, and I'm definitely looking forward to season 2 because I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've heard it's much more unconventional, and yet it also has a good arc to it. So really interested. I know that the Dominator character is one that I'm really looking forward to. I'm not sure quite when they show up, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with that.
Well, Dominator shows up in the very first episode
of season 2.
Yep.
Okay, so they're just a complete season 2. I wasn't sure if they showed up in season 1 at all. Okay.
Well,
spoilers.
You'll see.
Okay, fair enough.
So in retrospect, are you glad you started watching this series?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun. Like I said, I just kind of highlighted, like, I think the series is actually kind of at its strongest when it doesn't necessarily care about narrative so much. So I'm not sure what that says about my enjoyment of the show going forward, as it takes a more narrative approach. But I am looking forward to seeing what they crack out. There's a lot of episodes that you've teased.
Well, there are mainly 4 22-minute episodes in the second season, and then that are basically the arc of the series, and then the other ones are loosely related to it in a way.
That sounds like something that's up my speed. All right.
Including, again, I'll wait to give out the highlights of season 2 until we're done with this one. But
sure. Well, the one that I'm very looking forward to, that's kind of been a running piece of the conversation, is the episode that's all based on the title cards.
Oh yeah, that is a pretty good. From what I remember, that is a pretty good one.
What is that episode title?
I forget what that one actually is called. I mean, it doesn't have the title doesn't actually reference that at all.
It'd be great if the title was just the title card.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. But like I said, I guess we'll get to that when it comes.
When it comes, yes. Okay.
I think it might be called The Matchmaker. I don't know.
The Matchmaker. Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Okay, fair enough. Anyways, Jacob, so I guess now with this out of the way, let's move forward into the second half of season 1.
And we can have the retrospective part 2 at the end of this one. At the end of the entire season.
Yeah, what I might want to do is I might want to kind of lay out like my top 5, bottom 5 of the first half of season 1, or I mean the second half of season 1, and then also do an individual podcast about my top 10 and bottom 10 of season 1.
You might like do a separate one for half of season 1 and the entire season 1.
Exactly.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay, so anything you could tease about the next episode coming up?
All right, well, the next 2 episodes are after the day and the night are. First one is called The Lonely Planet, where a female planet becomes very infatuated with Wander.
That sounds like a premise that's kind of like The Ball. It's like it's something you could only do in animation.
To say she becomes very yandere infatuated with Wander.
All right.
You get what I mean there.
Yeah.
And also The Brainstorm. Do you ever wonder how villains come up with their ideas? This one shows you how, in a press conference.
Oh, God. That's
where Lord Hader and Commander Peepers and some watchdogs try to pitch the perfect plan to capture a planet and then figure out how to circumvent Wander's interference.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of fun. All right then, Jacob.
Should I also mention some highlights that are coming up in the season?
Well, I know one that you mentioned is The Void that you're really looking forward to.
Yeah, well, I'll mention some. Since we're halfway through, I'll talk about some of the other highlights that are coming up.
Sure. Go ahead.
There's the Epic Quest of Unfathomable Difficulty.
Which I love that title.
Yep. Where it's all about Wander and Sylvia's quest to return a sock.
Oh God! Oh, that's great. That sounds like it's so right up my alley. It's not even funny.
Let's see. There's the Buddies, where Wander and Hader get trapped in a pit together with other creatures.
Is it like a bottle episode? Is it self-contained?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Like, is the whole thing like taking place in that pit for the most part?
Pretty much.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
Well, it's not really a pit. It's more like an open area, but it's like a prison area almost.
Okay, fair enough.
There's the enemies. The enemies, I believe, is the one where Brad Starlight teams up with Lord Hader.
Nice.
And the gift episodes, and a Halloween and a Christmas episode at the same time.
Oh, you sold me. You fucking sold me. Say no more.
Like I said, the gift 2, which comes first, is a Halloween episode from Lord Hader and Peepers' mostly Lord Hader's perspective, where Wander and Sylvia are delivering presents to the watchdogs.
Oh, hell yes.
And the Christmas episode is told from their perspective.
Can you say Christmas in July 2017 much?
Pretty much, and it's also a Halloween one.
Well, we've already got our haunted Halloween hijinks lineup for this year, so don't really have a lot of room to fit that in. But Christmas in July 2017, hell yes.
And if you like episodes that talk about and focus on Wander's more psychological aspect, you'll really like The Helper, in which, despite it being titled, nobody needs help in the episode, and it drives him nuts.
That sounds kind of like The Fugitive, except without the whole like hiding from the watchdogs angle.
And it's the only episode to be worked on by Aaron Springer.
Oh, really? Huh. Okay.
I believe so.
Nice.
I mean, I take it you recognize the name.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Who actually has his own Disney XD series coming out soon, I believe.
What is it?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. It's just kind of in development. All right. Well, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, it's been confirmed. I just don't know what it's called. But The Helper is the only episode he worked on in its entirety. In the entire series. But that's an episode that focuses entirely on Wander's inability to help people.
Okay, so
he wants to help people but can't.
Let's round this off.
What?
Oh, I'm just saying let's kind of bring this to an end.
Okay, those are pretty much the only highlights I wanted to mention now.
Yeah, I just don't want you to kind of like give away the whole season. So
trust me, there's quite a few I left out.
Okay. All right, Jacob. So up next on the animation docket, we're definitely going to be I think we're probably not going to have time to do another Wander Over Yonder before Star versus the Forces of Evil comes back next week. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely can't wait to talk about that. That is returning from its hiatus on
in 2 days.
Monday.
Yeah, 2 days.
Yeah. So really stoked about that.
And come October 3rd, I believe it's October 3rd, Milo Murphy's Law.
Yep, I love me some Weird Al. You love me some Phineas and Ferb. It should be a match made in heaven.
Yep, and I think they're both airing on Monday. That's the same thing with not Wander, but Star and Milo.
Fair enough. Well, if Milo's if Star's like a lead in to Milo, that's a pretty good lead in.
Unless like they dole up the remaining episodes this month, which I highly doubt.
No, I don't think they're gonna pull a fucking Steven Universe.
I think they have more than enough episodes left in this season to fill like at least two or more months.
Right.
So we'll just see where this and see where Star takes us. I mean, we know we're watching, definitely liking that so far, and plus we'll see where Milo takes us. See if either of us like that.
Yeah, Milo is definitely more of it's a wild card kind of pick. I'm just kind of going with it because it's Weird Al, and also Phineas and Ferb is a show that I mean to get into, but I just don't really have the time, and it'd be good to kind of catch another show by the same creator from the jump. So really looking to it's kind of unexplored territory for us, kind of like
plus I like to be
kind of exploring a show from the very first episode. No real expectations either way.
Plus I like the concept.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's round this off. Thank you for joining us, folks. We'll be back. Like I said, we're probably not going to do another one of these Wander things until after Star, but we'll be back next week to talk about the Lonely Planet and also what's the other one, Jacob?
The Brainstorm.
The Brainstorm. All right, cool. So, in the meantime, later
haters.
Stay banging.